I was like, yes, that's what we're doing.
Should have told me. I would have brought mine too.
I thought you would have yours for sure. I'll probably have my, oh, I forgot. That's right. I'll probably wear these every episode. I was like looking at, I won like 2 episodes last. Anyway.
Like full on like that, or are you gonna flip them up?
No, just like this. I don't think I only like ever flip them up. Like if I need to like read something in my phone or something, I never wear them up. I was in, for Father's Day, I was in Palmdale. This would be a cool little start to the podcast. So for Father's Day, I was in Palmdale, and I had these on. My auntie was like, do those flip up? And I was like, yeah. She was like, no, they don't. And I was like, yeah, they do. She was like, oh, okay. I think I was like I think I wore them like that just to show her for like 5 minutes and put them back down.
Yeah.
I don't know. They look way better like this. If they were just like these frames, like with no, like they weren't sunglasses, just glasses, I'd probably wear that. But like,
I always would wear them up.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't think
And mine are brown too. Yep, just like that.
It doesn't look bad. I had a brown pair.
Because I liked the flipping part, so when I would go outside, I would just click. It was like you know when you used to close your flip phone? Just be like, you know what I mean? It's that move.
I had a brown pair, and I ain't even gonna get into that. They got stolen. Like legit got stolen. So
like you know who did it?
Yeah.
Savage.
Yeah, I know exactly who did it.
Dude, somebody did that to me once. They stole all the money out of my wallet, and then when they see me steal, they act like we all know it was her, and she just keeps acting like it is not, like nothing happened. I'm like, if I wasn't a Christian.
I was about to say, why are you still hanging around this girl?
I don't, but she's a friend of, like, she's a part of an extended circle. Mm-hmm. So every so often when I hang out with those people, she's there. Mm-hmm. And I'm always like, yeah, I'm going to have to go because I'm only so much holy before I go.
How long ago was this?
Last year. So it's only been like a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
We too old to be stealing.
Dude, that's what I was saying. I was like, we all grown, we all got jobs.
Yeah.
And it was like without a shadow of a doubt. Like there was only like 5 people at the table. So it was like, you know what I mean? And everybody was like, oh, it's probably her because she steals stuff. And I was like, you guys didn't want to tell me that?
I thought you were about to say, oh, it's her, we saw her. I was like, what?
No, they told me that she steals. Like they had multiple stories about this person stealing from other people. And I was like, you guys didn't want to say that, so I didn't leave my stuff around? I feel like that should be like a warning.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
That was something that's like, hey, this is so-and-so and she's a thief.
Right.
Don't leave your stuff around her.
Check your stuff. Yeah, I feel it.
Yeah.
You gotta get that information up.
Definitely.
Ain't Got It Yet podcast, episode 42. I'm here with Zoe. Appreciate you joining me on the show. How you doing today?
For sure. I'm good.
Yeah, everything good?
Yes.
You look nervous. You good?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's all the coffee.
Okay. Yeah. I need a coffee myself. And some French fries. I do that every time I come and film a show. I come in here and I usually have something to drink, but today I don't. I'm always thirsty and I need like a whole bunch of water and I get super hungry, like 20 minutes in.
I've heard you're thirsty. I'm just kidding.
You ain't, is that how we starting off?
I'm kidding.
So you never heard that about me. No one can ever say that about me. Never. Anywho. Happy New Year to you.
Definitely.
How'd you spend your New Year?
At home with my dogs. It was awesome. Nice. I watched the Bourne Ultimatum trilogy. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My dad loves those movies. You watched all of them?
All of them.
Nice.
It was a long day.
I feel it. Oh, okay. I thought it was just like in the night. I was like, sheesh.
No, I don't think you can get them in one night.
Yeah, probably not. I can't remember the last time I watched. Well, no, I just did it with Home Alone. I do that every year. But like, 3 movies though, like, and like back to back to. Even Home Alone, it was like I watched one like December 9th, and I watched Home Alone 2 on like closer to Christmas. Yeah.
Well, I didn't have a TV for years, you know this. So like,
that's right.
Now that I have one, I like, whenever I do sit down to watch it, I'm like, oh, I haven't done this in forever. So I kind of like binge for a bit because I didn't have one for a long time. So
that's dope.
Yeah.
I've been watching. I told myself I got into like way more into TV towards the end of 2023, and I told myself moving into the new year, I'm not gonna watch as much TV.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. I be on YouTube, but it's like you still just watching and not being productive. So I guess it's the same thing. It ain't no better.
Yeah. YouTube is definitely like a thing for me, but I use it to learn. Like I legit use YouTube to like listen to stuff because I'm an Audible listener. So like I'll put on lessons for things and then I'll go walk the dogs or I'll do stuff. So like my YouTube hours are like ridiculous.
I'm the same way. Just on the way, before I left to come here, I was watching a video about like, different frame rates to use and how to color grade and all that different stuff. Yeah, for sure. But no, I definitely like, I get on like these like, go down like YouTube wormholes. Yeah. And that'll be like my thing for like the next 2 months. Yeah. Like at one point it was like the scam baiters, like the dudes that like send like the fake, like, oh, your computer's buy this, and it was that, and I went down that wormhole. Before that, it was to Chris Hansen, To Catch a Predator. Like all the guys like To Catch the Pedophile.
Sure.
And what was it before that? But anyway, I get on like these wormholes, and that's like all I watch. And they'd be like, bro, like, why are you? I was telling my mom about one of the To Catch a Predator episodes. She was like, why are you sitting up watching that? Like, why?
Yeah. And you have kids, doesn't that like haunt you?
No, but I worked with kids before this too. So not that I'm used to that happening. I just know how real it is. You know what I mean? And so I like seeing them dudes get embarrassed and jammed up. There's actually a dude, and we'll get into everything you got going on in a minute.
No,
There's a dude here in San Diego called, what's his Instagram called?
Are you about to blast somebody?
Huh?
Are you about to blast a predator?
No, he catches predators here in town.
Oh, I was like, damn, are you really about to name them?
No. I would, though. I would.
I mean, that is the point of them having like their name registered, right? But I was like, damn, are we going there?
I would, absolutely I would. I actually came across his page because I was just scrolling my Explore page on Instagram.
Sure.
And I seen this sneaker store in Escondido that I've only been in twice. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I didn't buy anything either time, but I was like, next time I'm buying something from there. And I'm looking in the store, I'm like, and I didn't even know it was like a Predator video. I'm just looking, I'm like, oh, that's right up the street, that's right here in Escondido. And I'm looking, and sure enough, I ain't gonna do it like that, because there's the other dude that's an owner, and from all the research that I did, he's on the up and up.
Yeah.
But his business partner was absolutely a pedophile, like going, like they said, he'd be like at the sneaker events, like talking to kids, like.
Oh no.
Yeah, and he even said in the video, he's like, I love kids, like I teach dance to kids, I love kids. And then, yeah, sure enough.
They sure do.
Exactly, yeah, that's how they infiltrate. And then I was reading the comments, somebody was like, yeah, I've known this dude, he's been a creep since high school.
Oh,
and ever since that video came out, I guess he like left San Diego and has been like, nobody's ever heard of him since he left, so.
Yeah, I mean.
Right. We don't need him here in the city.
Yeah, but you know what? I think that you really need to trust the vibe, because like people who were weird when we were younger are weird now.
Yeah.
And like some of them like fell in weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
You always definitely need to trust the energy that somebody gives off.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely. And not weird and like, I just want to be clear because that could easily be taken away. Not that weird and not like you're into Harry Potter or like you're like, no, it's cool to being a nerd is. It's a negative connotation, but it's a good thing to be a nerd. We mean weird as like you said, the vibe. Like somebody, like you go around somebody.
Bad energy.
Perfect example, and this is bad energy. My upstairs neighbor, shout out to Kayla, she lives in Boston now. But growing up, I used to love the, what's the name of the song? We ain't going nowhere. I used to like big Puff Daddy, big P. Diddy fan, right? And I always be, I'm like, oh, he's so cool. Like all he got on is a white t-shirt, some glasses. Look how cool he is. And I remember, I never forget, she was like, yeah, he wear them glasses because his eyes are so creepy. I was like, what? She was like, whenever I look at him, I feel like nasty. Like whenever I look at P. Diddy's eyes, she was like maybe 11 or 12. She was like, whenever I look at P. Diddy's eyes, I just like feel nasty. He just like, he creeps me out whenever I look at him. And sure enough, when all this stuff came out, that was one of the first things I thought about. So that's what we mean when we mean like weird people, like people that give you those type of those
like
types
future
of
serial killer,
right?
Weird,
right? Like why?
You know?
It's like why you got a trench coat on, bro? It's 80 degrees out.
Yes. You know my biggest pet peeve is people that don't dress for the weather. Right. You know that. Like if it's cold outside, please put on some shoes. I know it's San Diego, but your toes look cold. I hate that. For sure. Y'all, it be the girls that be doing it, sacrificing to be cute. Yeah, but there's a difference.
Not you, but I'm just saying women in general.
And I have made my sacrifices back in my 20s. I'm not going to lie. And you don't get that cold. But there's a difference between making a sacrifice for fashion, and it's another thing when you're just like, I'm just going to go against the grain. And it's not even the right grain. Right. You know what I mean? Like... Just go with the flow. Like it's literally 40 degrees outside and you're in sandals. Like just because you're in San Diego. No, sweetie. Yeah. Put on some shoes. They make some cute sweaters. You can get a sweater with holes if you want to be a hoochie, but still, you know what I mean?
Right. Dress for the weather.
Help yourself.
I feel it. It just... I always like, because I'm always cold. Like I'm cold right now. Like I'm always cold. So I just be looking at other people like, bro, you have to... There's no way you're comfortable right now. And I'm not somebody... That part. I've never...
You look uncomfortable. Yes. I think that's why I get uncomfortable, because they look uncomfortable. Like they're standing there like going like this to their toes. Moving back and forth. And I'm just like...
You making me anxious.
You could have just put some socks on and you would have been totally fine. Exactly. It's how they make me feel. I think I'm being selfish. It's about how I feel when I look at them.
Right.
Not about what they're doing.
Yes. Never got it.
Because you do see those people who are not from San Diego and they come here during our winter and they're like, it's like minus 40 where I'm from, so this is summer. And I'm like, okay, I get it. You look comfortable. That's fine.
Yeah, that's different.
But it's like the people that are from here, like 50 is cold for us.
Right.
Act like it.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Well, he wasn't my coach. Did he coach when I was there? No, I think I was just at the game. No, I had already graduated, but you know, when you play, they let you come on the sideline and everything.
Yeah.
So I'm down there with the team, and one of the new coaches is from Boston. It's raining. It's like raining.
Was it a flashback high school memory?
I had already graduated.
Oh, okay.
So I went back to like visit my team, and they let me like stand on the sideline with the team and everything.
Understood.
And there's a new coach there now. I won't say his name. He works in PB and all that too. I won't do anything like that. It ain't like a big deal, but I just want to do him like that. But like I got a jacket. I'm on the sideline with an umbrella. I didn't open it because all the players and stuff. But it's mad. It's freezing. It's rain, pouring rain. He's got on like shorts, like ankle socks and tennis shoes, and like a compression shirt. It's like, oh, you California kids are soft. This isn't cold. Well, I'm from Boston. I'm like, bro, this is not Boston. We didn't grow up there. This is cold for us, bro. I don't want no parts of Boston. If you can, I'm straight.
Oh,
I've only lived in Southern California, so I couldn't. I mean, granted, I've 6th grade camp. We went up to the snow, and I've visited other places and all of that. But I need SoCal.
I've lived in other places, and I still freeze. I'm just not. I haven't spent enough time anywhere else to like.
Get acclimated.
Yeah, exactly. Literally acclimated. Like, no, I lived in Spain for 6 months and I was still freezing.
Yeah,
and everybody was just walking around like it ain't nothing. And I was like, no, guys, this is cold.
Yeah, I feel it.
I'm freezing.
What were you doing in Spain?
Culinary school. After culinary school, I did an internship out there.
Nice.
So I worked at a restaurant over there.
You liked it?
I did. I went to the part of Spain that my dad's family's from.
Oh, dope.
So, like, my last name here, nobody can even pronounce it, right? It's Urrutia. And most of the people, well, maybe not now, but like growing up, anybody in San Diego who had that last name, I was related to, like for sure. Now, they have kids, so not so much. But over there, my last name is super common. Like the soccer coach of the city of Bilbao, which is like in the Basque region where I was, his last name was Urrutia. And so people were like, oh, are you related? And I was like, yeah, that's my uncle.
That's what's up.
So, yeah, it was pretty cool just like to see it. And my dad went with me to like drop me off, make sure everything was cool. So we got to like go around the place together, and like it was his history. So it was pretty cool. It was a cool experience to share with him.
That's really cool. You said 4 months?
6.
6 months. 6 months. You never went back ever since?
I have not. No.
You sound like desire to? It sounded like
it was a good. I mean, I love Europe. Honestly, I do. I was born in California, but I don't think that I'm like everything that I like is not West Coasty. Like I'm very everything else. So I like going places that.
So you're leaving soon?
It doesn't seem like it. God doesn't want me to move. I've been praying about it for years, and like He'll send me places to like do stuff, but He's like, you gonna come right back. Like He never lets me stay anywhere, which is really annoying because I really want to move. Yeah,
we'll have to just do it. Just get up and go. I know
because I don't move without permission from God. Because then you're not blessed. Everything gets too hard. I've already like started to like make a name for myself here, like make multiple businesses in San Diego. So it's like I can't move without an opportunity. I'm old enough to know that like without the door being open, I'm not going to go knocking doors down. Like that's something you do when you're young and you have nothing to lose. I got something to work for.
Right, I heard that. Yeah. Speaking of all the businesses you do, let's get into those a little bit. Which one you want to start with? Because you do a lot.
I do a lot. Yes. I think it's like I was thinking about it because I figured you were going to ask that, right? And so I was thinking about it, and it's like on my way to like getting to my purpose, which I'm like walking into now. I just did a lot of stuff because I couldn't figure out what I liked, and thankfully I had good parents. So my mom was always like, well, what do you like? What do you want to do? What do you want to try? Like, you can do anything. Like, she was always one of those moms that was like, you can literally do anything you want to do and we will support you. And as a Mexican, like as long as you're in school, your parents support your life. So I like studied a bunch of things before I decided to go out into the world because, they were paying for everything. And even when gas got expensive, I come from a family of like motorcycle riders. So when gas got expensive, my mom was like, everybody gets motorcycles, so I'm not paying for gas anymore. we were all like, yeah, hard sell. So my brother, my sister, my dad, we all got motorcycles, and we used to ride out together on Sundays to church and stuff.
That's dope.
Yeah, so it was a pretty cool situation. So, and my parents are entrepreneurs, right? So I was never a good employee when I got time to get a job, because I always grew up working with my parents. So I was always a boss from the time I was like 15 and started working. So then I went into the real world and got a job, and I had to listen to people. And I was like, and the instructions they give you are dumb. Like for, whatever reason, like the business world has like these rules that you need to follow. And they didn't make any sense to me. So I wouldn't do them. And then I would get fired, or I would quit because I would get bored, or I wouldn't play the politics of the office. And then I wouldn't have any friends. So then I would just leave. Like I was just not very good at the whole corporate thing. So, so I went to school, got a degree in business. And then I was too young to like really know what to do with it. So I thought it was boring. So then I went to culinary school, because I was like, well, maybe I'll run a restaurant. My parents already have a catering company. I can learn from the inside, but now I know business, so nobody will be able to like steal money from me. Like I can read the books, but I can just do the fun side. And so I went to culinary school, and then I went to Spain to do my internship. And then the restaurant industry is very, how do I say it? It's sad. Like it's so stressful that it drives people to drink and to do drugs and to deal with it. And your whole life becomes about that. Like you work at night, you work every holiday, you work every weekend. You don't have really much time to cultivate relationships. So like most of my superiors, like my chefs, were either in AA or divorced, or had their wives always yelling at them because they were always working. So it makes it really hard to like build a family and build a life and build a future, which I thought I wanted. So I was like, well, if that's where I'm going to end up, I don't really want that. Plus, I don't want to be addicted to anything. I've never wanted to be addicted to anything. So it just made it really hard to choose that as like a life path. So then I stepped away from it, got an office job. And like I said, I'm not very good at those. So I lasted like a year. But I was working as an associate for Louis Vuitton. So like I managed the cleaning crews for all the Louis Vuittons of the West Coast. So my job was to hire them, train them how to clean the stores before it opened, and like make sure that everything was running smooth. So that was like a really cool insight of like behind the scenes for that. Yeah. So like every job that I've had taught me something, and then I used that as like a way to make money. Like I'm not going to waste any of my skills. So like now, like people know me from all different things, and they're all true. Like if you met me as a chef because I catered your event, like it's true. And if you met me as a bartender, it's true because it's good money. And if you met me as like a web designer because you needed something for your business, then I do that too. And because I have so many businesses, I also coach people to run their business or fix it or whatever. So all of them are true, and all of them are possible. And like the fact that people say like you have to stay in like one lane, I don't believe that at all. Like I think that God has given us like multiple gifts, and it's okay to like do them all, And they don't have to be hobbies. Like you can literally make money off of them if that's something you enjoy and you're good at. So I just try to like anything that I like to do. If somebody asks me like, "Oh, will you do this for me?" and it's like, "Yeah, but it's going to cost you."
Right.
Like when I got into juicing, people started asking. Like I would post it on social media because I like sharing what I'm going through and stuff like that on social media. So like I would post like when I'm juicing, and they're like, "Oh, can I get one?" and it's like, "Yeah." And I would just look it up, like, how much does it cost? And I'd be like, for this much. And they're like, oh, cool. So then that's how I got into that. And then I had a juice bar at a gym at DC Athletics for a while. So, yeah, it's like anything that I can try, I will. Like, I'm not afraid to, like, start and fail a business. Because I always learn. I make connections from it. Like, I've gotten around San Diego basically doing that. Like, trying new businesses. And then if they don't work, I just see what comes out of that and then build from there. So
what's been of all the businesses you've built and been a part of, what's been the most fulfilling, I'll say?
What I do now. So like my main thing now is like I'm a business consultant. So basically like I help people either build their business from the beginning, or if they have one and it's not making money, I'll come in and like look at it and tell you how you can restructure so that it can make money, or we can visualize how to grow it into something that is what you hoped it would be. So like I have a really good eye, and I think again it's because my parents were business owners, like basically my whole life. My mom gave me the eye for that. So like as soon as somebody tells me what they do, my brain starts going like, oh, you should do this and this and this and this. And like I can see the future of that business like within 10 minutes of talking to somebody. So it's like I really, really like that. And I like using my brain. So when it starts moving, I'm like, I can't wait for them to stop talking so that I can start talking. And I'm like, can I just tell you? So
I was just about to ask, is it ever like difficult to turn that off? But it doesn't sound like you ever want to turn that off.
I don't, but I mean, it makes it hard to sleep, you know, when your brain's always on. So, but yeah, no, I like to always think, and I have a book of ideas. So it's like, I know that like, I'm what they call a serial entrepreneur. So I'm always thinking of a new business or a new idea. I have a lot of friends who are entrepreneurs, and I have ideas for all of their businesses. So I'm like, I'm just waiting for them to ask me for help, and then I'll be like, oh my God, let me just get my book. So yeah, I have ideas for all of them.
So why don't you just like have like, I mean, you're already having people at your house all the time. Why don't you just have all of those people that you'd like to help, have them over and be like, look, this is what I'm thinking.
I do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I do. I definitely do. My closest friends, I help. But it's also like my visions sometimes are so far ahead than where they are. And as a small business owner, sometimes it's scary to like think that far ahead. So I've learned to like wait for them to ask, like, what should we do next? As opposed to just being like, I saw your business 5 years from now and it's blah. And it's like, calm down. I just started. Like, I don't want to handle that much, or I don't want to do that much, or maybe they haven't seen it themselves, or maybe that's not where they want to go. So me imposing like an idea of what I think their business should be is like scary and sometimes unnecessary. You know, just because I think that your business should go there doesn't mean that you want it to go there. You know, so
well, you're ready to do that.
Yeah,
I feel it.
Yeah. So I always just wait now. Like, I'm very intense. Like, my passion comes off as intense. So if I don't wait for people to ask me a question and I just go for it, I can always tell now. Like, they just stare at me and I'm like, okay, I'm done talking.
Okay.
You didn't even ask me that.
Has someone told you that your passion is intense, or you can just feel that?
No, I have close friends who have told me.
Okay.
Or they'll make jokes about it. Like, I have a lot of guy friends, so they make fun of me for stuff like that. Because they don't take it personal. But it has, every joke that they make has like a seed of truth. I've learned to pay attention to that so that other people that don't know me as well are not intimidated or like turned off by me like coming off so strong right away.
Absolutely. Self-awareness is important.
Definitely.
I was just, I feel like that's I feel like we all should be constantly learning about it. So I was about to say I'm still learning about myself, but we all should be. But that's one thing that like I'm happy that I know about myself, that I'm a very annoying person. Like I know that
You're very annoying.
I believe I am, because I get like you. I get excited and passionate about things, and I'll just start, whoever that I want to be a part of it, I'll just start going. Just start going, and they'll be like, bro, like, hold on, like, give me a minute, you know what I'm saying? But I'm also the type that, like, if I present something to you that, like, I'd like to do with you, if you don't tell me yeah unless you know you want to do it. Because as soon as you tell me yeah, I'm going to be blowing you up. Yeah. You're going to have to tell me, like, all right, bro.
Calm down.
You said we're going to do it on the 5th, and it's still the 28th. Like, let us get there, bro. I'm like, no, but I know, but... So I'm very persistent and very, like, energetic when I have an idea. And so I have to... Just today, somebody that I'm going to have on the show next week. I was about to hit him today, and I was like, bro, like, you already locked it in 2 days ago that he's coming. Like, leave him alone. Like, he'll be there, bro. Like, leave him alone. And I know that I never, when people are like persistent or like really like energetic with me about things, I don't ever get annoyed or like take it personally. Well, I can't lie. I have one friend that he's like, I'm like, this dude.
Say his name. No,
I can't do it. He a great dude. He's a great friend, so I can't do him like that. But no, and he's more so like, I don't get annoyed by his like his energy or like his eagerness to do things. Like, he just like, anyway, I'll leave it alone because he watches.
You have an intense friend.
He watches the show. I'll leave it alone. Yeah.
Shout out to the intense friend.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it.
You're not alone, bro.
I was about to say I'm one of the intense friends, but he's yeah, for sure.
No, and I know that because like I have a close circle of people that I hang out with, right? And anytime that we invite like let's call them outsiders for lack of a better word, don't be offended. Like when I start telling, because I usually, like my friends are used to me, so I'll be like, okay, next we're gonna do this, and next we're gonna do this, and so my friends just roll with it, or like if they don't want to do it, they just ignore me, and the new people are like, why are you being so intense? And I'm just like, okay, like calm down, like it's okay, you know. And I'm just like, this is just how I am. Like when I plan things, I like to do them, you know. Like or like if I throw a party and it's a themed party, like stuff is happening. I need you guys to roll with me,
right.
You know? So it's like, yeah. But my friends, like I said, if they don't want to do it, they're just like, they just look at me or they ignore me. And I'm just like, okay, I guess you don't want to play games.
Right.
All right then.
Yeah, for sure. When you're not, you know, building businesses, how do you channel all that energy?
I work out for sure, definitely. I like to be outside, which is the reason why I didn't have a TV for many years. In 2000 and what year are we?
24. Just started 24.
18. Okay, so 2018. I found myself like in the house a lot. And I'm a huge extrovert, so I started to like feel different about myself, and I didn't like it. And so I started like trying to, that was like the beginning of me being self-aware, right? Because we were talking about self-awareness. So that was the beginning of me being self-aware, and I was like, okay, like what about, like what's happening right now that I don't like? And I just was watching a lot of TV, like Mexican moms always have the TV on, and it's always in Spanish. So like those voices like drive me crazy. But like as soon as they get to the house, they turn it on and it's just background noise. Like they just always need to have background noise, right? And so I just like would do that because that's what I grew up with. But I'm not like that because number one, I'm also like American. You know what I mean? Like I grew up in America. My parents grew up in Mexico. So like there was like a little bit of that conflict. And I just didn't like it. And I was like, I'm always watching TV. And then all the things that I was watching on TV are like of people doing stuff. I just liked watching people like climb mountains and like do different things. And I was like, I just need to go do them. Like, why am I watching these people like do all these things that look really cool when I could just be doing them? Like, we live in San Diego. We have so much stuff that we could be doing. So I got rid of my TV and I just started going outside. Like I didn't know where to start. So I literally just started walking. Like I would just go and walk around the neighborhood and then started talking to strangers. And then I would like sit at a bench and wait for somebody to join me and like do the Forrest Gump thing, like, hey, you know. So that's how I got comfortable like talking to strangers. And then it just kind of grew from there, just like trying different things. Like old people have the best stories, so I would 100%. Always let them talk. And you know, they like, especially like if you go by Seaport Village, there's always like some retired Navy or some sort of like military person that has a great story to share. Like, love to hear those. And then all the hobbies that they got into. So then that's when I started like making a list of like all the things that I wanted to start actually doing. So I hiked a lot, and like I got certified in scuba diving. Like I've been skydiving twice. I love bungee, like anything that sounds like exciting and maybe like dangerous a little bit, I'm down.
So you're a thrill seeker.
Yes. I mean, it started with motorcycles, obviously. Like I've been on motorcycles since I was very young, but yeah, I'm just not afraid to try something at least once. And then the skydiving was so cool, I did it twice. So
I still want to go skydiving. For a long time, I wouldn't go because of who I was with, but I ain't got that problem anymore. So I can't wait to go skydiving. I can't wait.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. And a lot of in San Diego, they have like Halloween specials. I don't know why. So, you know, Halloween, you should do it.
Probably will.
Yeah,
more than likely. I was supposed to go skydiving for like I think it was either my 20th or my 21st birthday. Ended up not going, and ever since then it's been like I ain't thought about it since. But I'm gonna go 2024. I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go for sure.
Yay, good luck to you. Make sure you get the video. Don't go cheap. Like, you have to get the video.
That's what I have. Two friends other than you that have told me that they've gone. They said the same thing. It's like, bro, it's not even, don't even go if you're not gonna get the video.
Yes, because literally, like, I still go back on my feed just to watch the video of me skydiving. And I went with friends. Like the first time I did it by myself, but the second time I went with a group of friends because we were all talking and they had never done it, and this email popped up that was like Halloween special, and I was like, you guys want to go? So then we all went, and so I love watching the video of me and my friends like jumping off a plane.
That's dope.
So yeah, it's like a cool experience, definitely.
That's dope. That was what I wanted to go back to. You were saying, like you like felt like you were changing being in the house, like you didn't feel like yourself. I was like in a funk, like the end of 2022 going into 23, and I didn't know like what was going on. Like it was just like I felt like myself, but like I don't want to sound all like, you know.
Just go there. What's the word?
Like a low vibrational version of myself.
Yes, no, that's a thing for sure.
And I know it's a thing, but I didn't want to make it sound all, you know what I mean? Like, the vibe.
Yeah.
But that was how I felt.
No, but even the Bible talks about energy. Like it not necessarily in that word, but it does tell you like the Holy Spirit like guides you, and so if you're vibrating high, you attract high. So
makes perfect sense.
Yes, not in those words. Not in those words. Don't get all
right.
legalistic on me.
For real. And I wasn't sure like what. I just remember like I would like wake up and I would like try to get into my routine and like do things to like feel good, and it would work like in the moment, but it wasn't a feel good that was sustained. And I was like I don't know what is going on with me. And then I started getting out of the house more. I started like going back out, like hearing live music. My girl Sarah that moved out of town on me, she was a big help in that. Was hanging out with her a lot. But just like getting back outside and being around people, but just like being able to like connect, because I film basketball games, so I'm always outside.
Sure.
So I'm always like around people, but it's like,
yeah, it's different when you're outside for work and when you're outside
like
for you.
I'm giving a quick dap, and not for nothing, I give 1,000,000 daps every gym I go into now. Oh my gosh! Anyway, I would say what's up to people, and then get on the baseline and be filming, and then I would say what's up to 2 more people, and then leave. But now when I started going outside, and how it is now, it's like I'm outside like connecting with people, like networking and meeting people, and like getting recharged. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say like not just being outside recharges me, but just like being able to connect with people. I think that's why I enjoy podcasting so much. It's like I really, really, really love coming in here and having conversations. Sometimes it's like I dread getting everything all set up, but once I'm sitting down doing the show, I love it. I almost didn't come and do this because I didn't feel like it. Like I think that I love connecting with people is what I'm saying. Yeah. And I didn't realize that was missing, and that's why I didn't feel like myself, you know?
Yeah, I think, so a couple of things came to mind when you said that. But number one, the Bible talks about like being in low places, like being depressed and being like that. There's a part in the Bible where this prophet was like feeling all depressed, and God literally like put a tree so he would have some shade, and he gave him some food, and he was like, take a nap. And then he like woke up and he didn't want to die anymore. It's like a very simple story, but literally God gave him shade and some food, and he was like, take a nap. And then like it just says like when he woke up, he was fine. So like the power of being outside and sleeping, you know, not at the same time, but okay, maybe.
Right.
But it's definitely a thing. But also, I think that like part of the journey of like growing up, if you want to live that way, because not everybody grows up and matures, but if you want to grow up, part of the maturity process is like realizing like who you are and what you're good at, so that you can live in that space. You know, that's why I do so many things, because I realize that I'm not just one thing that can keep me happy. You know what I mean? Like, I've never had a job that I could stay in for a long time, because I can't do the same thing over and over and over again. Like, my brain needs to be stimulated in many different ways. And like, honestly, like it started when I was 18. I was, let's call it a street merchant.
Okay.
Of sorts.
Okay.
And that was the beginning of my sales experience, and like dealing with people and like having conversations, because nobody knows what you do until you tell them what to do, but you have to tell them what you do in a very specific way and figure out like if they're interested, you know? And so that was like the beginning of me learning to talk to people and like learning to read people, and like, because then after a while you know who's who and you can just know how to move. And I just started paying attention to like what were my skills, you know? And I was like, well, I'm very good at talking to people. At the time, I was like, I'm good at portraying confidence, because, you know, when you're 18, you don't have any, you don't really know anything. And so I was like good at like making moves or like talking a big game, you know what I mean? And then I like took that with me to the next thing. So like now I'm like studying and I'm in culinary school, and I'm like still trying to like live in my confidence and talking a big game. So I'm getting jobs. So I worked the Grammys. I worked like a bunch of different events, because I was just like, they're like, do you feel like you can handle it? And I was like, yeah. I don't know if I can, but you know, what's the worst thing that can happen?
Right.
Just burn a whole thing. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, and I went to culinary school in LA, so obviously that was like, it was an easy access, because it would just be like, they have this event, if you want to audition, you can, you know, be in the kitchen for the Grammys, for the Oscars, for all the things. So I took them all. And so you just kind of start to learn, like, okay, what are the things that you're good at? And then you pay attention to how those make you feel, because sometimes you're good at certain things that don't make you feel very good.
True.
So you shouldn't walk in those things, you know? So it's like, finding your purpose is a journey of like self-awareness and like really giving into who you were created to be, you know? Like, I know that not everybody believes in the same God or the same like concept of religion, but we all still believe that there's like a reason why we're here. Like, there's something that we should be doing.
Except
right?
the atheists, but I feel you.
Yeah. Well, they still believe something.
No, they don't. They believe that there's nothing.
No, I know that, but they believe that they're here for something. No?
I don't think so.
We should get an atheist on the show. Let's ask.
That's a great idea.
Yes. If you're an atheist, please hit him up. We got questions. But yeah, so I just think that like part of like maturing is just like learning about yourself. You know, learning about how to be in the spaces that make you good, in the spaces that make you feel fulfilled. What parts of your body are you good at training? You know what I mean? Like, some people are really good with their body, which they're athletes. Some people are really good with their brain. Some people are really good with their eyes. Some people are really good with their ears. Like, it just depends on what part of your body is gifted, and really like giving into that. You know, like if your hands are good, then you can make things like, shout out to Dapper. Those hats are amazing. Magic. But I've been blessed with seeing him work behind the scenes, and the way that his brain like tells his hands to move, it's crazy. Like, sometimes people will say like, okay, so an example, somebody ordered a custom hat for a Black Panther. And it took him a while to make it, because he was like, I just don't, like, I can't come up with the idea on how to like make it. And then one day it just hit, and within a couple of days the hat was made. And it was like, that's crazy. And he's just like sitting there just like, do you like this? And I was like, what? Like, a week ago you had no idea where this was going to be, and now it's a whole thing, you know? So like, watching creatives like really create is like my favorite thing.
Me too.
Like, I love that a lot of my friends are creatives. Like, have a bunch of friends who are musicians, and watching them play, oh my God, like, have you seen Rashad and Abe play? Like,
absolutely.
The way, like, it's like their hands aren't even connected to their body. It's crazy, you know? So it's like, when you watch somebody who has truly found what they're good at, be that's inspiring. So that's what makes me be like, okay, let me just keep trying to see. And when I learned that my words like affect people, then I was like, okay, business coaching is like something that I'm good at, because people listen to me when I speak. And so I always asked for guidance. Like, I don't speak out of turn, or I try not to anymore. So I'm always like, before I have somebody like meet with me, I always pray. Like, God, guide my words. Like, make sure that what I'm telling them is something that's going to benefit them. And if it's wrong, like, humble me to like fix it right away. Like, don't let me be like, I told them to do something and then I learned that it's not that, and then not want to tell them that I was wrong. Like, there's no ego in business, like, or they shouldn't be, because the only way to really like move is to think about what's best for the other person, or what's best for that business, or what's best for that, you know what I mean? That entity. So yeah, I just think it's really important to be self-aware and like really tap into like what your gift is. And I try to help people do that. Like, that's really like where I feel like my calling is like, what are you good at, and how can we make money out of that so that you can feel fulfilled and like live in purpose?
That's dope.
That's the cool thing.
That's dope. I heard, it was a Kobe Bryant interview. He was talking about, I forget who was interviewing him, but they said something like, the luckiest, like the luck, so I'm butchering it, but they were saying like the gist of it is like the luckiest people are the people that
already
find passion.
Oh, okay.
And Kobe was like, yeah, and you're even more lucky when you find it at an early age. He was like, I knew this at 9 years old, this is what I was going to do. He's like, I never did nothing else. Like, I played soccer a little bit. He was like, but this is why I look like this on the court, because I knew this is what I was going to do, and I spent all my time doing it. You know what I mean? And it just, like, to your point about like, oh, I just had a speaker box here. And shout out to Speaker Box, appreciate you, bro. And he was talking about how he writes music and how he creates, and he was saying like, I see it in colors, like when I'm writing. I was just like, and it was just so, like, I'm getting the chills even now just talking. It was so dope to just sit here and watch him talk about how he like how he interprets music and how he feels music and how he writes. It was so dope to just, I could sit up, like you said, I could sit up and watch creatives, like either watch them create or talk about going to create. I could do it all day. All day.
I remember Kanye West was the first time that I ever heard somebody say that about music, that they see it in colors. So he was like, I can see the music in colors, and so when I'm creating, I'm painting. And I was like, that's dope. And it's like, it's a condition. It's called something, right?
I forget.
Did he tell you what it was?
No, Pharrell. Pharrell was, he did it's my life, all I watch is interviews. Pharrell did an interview with Oprah a few years ago, and Oprah was talking about how when she's in the shower, she feels like when she's singing or listening, I forget, again, I'm going to butcher it, but she was saying something about when she's in the shower, when she's either singing or listening to music, it feels like she feels it in a different way. And Pharrell was like, no, that's because it's called, and he knew exactly what it was. He was like, when I'm in the shower, he was like the what I see when I'm in the, he's like, because I don't want, he didn't suffer from it, but he was like, I'm the same way. Like when I'm in the shower and I'm like putting songs together, like thinking about music, it's just different. Like, and I don't see, and I was about to say I used to be a musician. That is horrible. Used to be a musician. That is terrible. I am a musician.
What did you play?
I still play the drums. I am a drummer. But I never, and I meant to say when Speaker Box was here, I didn't get to.
Yeah.
But I never saw music in color. I feel music in my body in a real way. Like and I always have. And I think that's probably why I ended up playing the drums.
Yeah.
But even before, I only decided to go play the drums because I didn't want to sit next to my mom at church. Love my mom. I'm a big mama's boy. I am a big mama's boy. But just sitting in one spot I couldn't do it. And I was like, the drummer caught my eye one day.
And you have ADHD.
I have ADHD. Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. I didn't know it at the time, but yes, absolutely. I did. Yeah. But so it wasn't like, I wasn't seeing colors or but anytime I was around music, I could just I could feel the bass, I could feel the snare, I could feel the music in my chest and in my stomach. I always have. And I thought everybody could.
Oh,
I thought everybody was like that until was 7th grade. It was a big church youth choir rehearsal, and the director was talking about music almost the way Pharrell was talking about. He had just screamed on us, really. He had just screamed at us because nobody was getting it right. And he was saying this is my life. I love music. He was I love God. This is my ministry. He was but music is my life. Before I was a Christian, my life is music. He was and I really I feel this in a different way. So when you see this passion, I feel the music in my body. And when he said it, I was oh. He was I feel the music in my body. So when y'all he's right. And he was so when you see me yelling or somebody and I'm snapping, he was it's because this is my life. And I have a real passion for this. I feel it inside me. And when he said that, I was yo, I thought everybody felt that. And I remember looking at everybody else, this nigga feel music? What? And I remember thinking that's me. I've always felt that way.
Yeah.
And it makes perfect sense as to why I'm in the house, I'm not doing nothing. I hadn't created music in a long time. And then Sarah and I went to a neo soul, and I was just she was yo, you was she was how many? I was I had one drink, I think. But I was just, it was the music.
You were just feeling it.
It was just the music. And then, that got me in my whole, now I might go check out some music when I leave here. And that's just whenever I'm not, it was funny, I was trying to, it was saying, I need to find some hobbies. Whenever I'm not creating, I'm trying to be around some live music for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I love live music. I didn't know that I liked live music because it wasn't something that I was exposed to growing up. You know what I mean? It wasn't really a thing. Maybe an acoustic guitar here and there, a bunch of mariachi, but that's a different type of live music. But then I honestly cannot recall my first experience of live music outside of ballet, because growing up I was a ballet dancer. And I used to do the Nutcracker here at the Civic Center every winter. And they have a live orchestra. And so, when I was probably, maybe senior in high school, my mom was you haven't done the Nutcracker in years. Like, do you want to, because in high school I used to dance. I never really played sports. And she was like, do you want to audition for it this year? And then I was like, no, like the roles that they have for like people my age, you have to really like be really good at dancing at that point. Because when I was little, I would be like the little candy that comes out of the skirt, or like the little soldier or the mouse, or, you know, like just little things that were cute. But then she was like, well, you really used to like it. Like, you always would sit and like watch the band when you weren't playing. And I was like, I did? She was like, yeah, like we could never get you out of there, like even after you were done dancing. And so that was like the first time that I was like, oh, like I really enjoy like live music. And at the time, I only knew that kind of live music, like classical. So then I like, you know, get older and start going outside and I start hearing like bands play, and I'm just like, I really like this. Like I'm definitely vibing. And there's been a few times where like friends will catch me, or like the Soul Sunday camera once caught me like just like in trance in the music, and I'm like, I just really do love it. Like I don't know if I've paid attention to if I feel it in my body or not, but I love it. Like I went to New Orleans last year for Mardi Gras, and they have live bands in every place. Like it's just normal. I wish we had that here. Although it is growing a lot, you know, and because I do like it, I've made friends with musicians. So now I've found like different places that do have things going on. But I just truly enjoy, like, I don't even have to drink. Like I just go and I just like vibe for a little bit and then go home.
Same.
So yeah, there's a difference between like a live instrument, like, you know, and I mean, again, like I know I'm talking about God a lot, but like I love God.
You're totally fine.
But, like they're supposed, the music is like from heaven. You know what I mean? Like the angels play the trumpets and play instruments up there. So it's like, why wouldn't we enjoy it down here too? You know, like we're supposed to be a reflection of that. So
I was, my mom and I had a conversation about that years ago, about how, like where, I don't know where it comes from, but just like how like the devil was like the minister of music and all that and all that. And that's, my mom was saying like, that's why, you know, she's like entertainment as a whole, but just like, that's why music is so like, it's so like tricky with it. So I mean, she didn't put this part. This is just me. She wouldn't, you know. But just like the music in and of itself before the lyrics are added to it.
yeah,
Music in and of itself is a vibration. It's a vibe. It's a it could.
It's intrinsic though. Like it is. You know what I mean? Like they do the snake things.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? They
Absolutely.
totally trap a snake into dancing with music.
And then you already have that, and then you add words to it. And if you subscribe to all that, like that's why it's called spelling, because it's a spell and all this and that. I don't know how deep I want to go into believing that, but I do think there's some truth in it. Where it's like, you know what I mean? So if
of course, I mean, if people believe, like now, affirmations are big, right? So if you do believe that the words have power and that's why you say them, then why wouldn't you believe that the words that are in the music and you're repeating are not the same?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. My mom and I was, and I think at the time, it was actually when I was still making music. So it was long time ago. But I think that's why, like, she was, like, trying to, like, drive that point home to me. It was like, be careful. Like, like, I know, like, you're a Christian. You're not, like, all the way, like, super Christian, but you're not, like, a street dude neither. So, like, and you making this music, so, like, be careful. Like, be careful. And at first, I didn't really understand. I knew what she was saying, but I didn't quite understand it until a little bit later.
I was gonna say that there's a bunch of stuff, and I honestly, like, I'm so grateful. I thank God for this, like, almost every day, for putting me in a family that He put me in with the parents that He gave me, because they were so, like, present. You know? And so there was a bunch of stuff that my mom said that she planted in me so that later on in life I would know them. Like, she would say them so much that they, like, you know, you're just like, okay, mom, like, blah, blah. And then you get older and you hear it and you're like, oh, like, it all of a sudden makes sense. And my parents were always, like, loved God. They used to be Catholics, and then we all, like, the whole family got saved. But it was definitely like that. Like, when I was in the streets, like BC, I would sing stuff, and it was cool, and it was like, and that's what I was living. Like, I was listening to Trina and Little Kim and all these, and I was that, you know what I mean? I was super aggressive. Like, I'm listening to Luda, and it's like, move, and I'm in the club, like, get out the way, you know? Like, yeah, definitely, like, whatever you listen to, it affects you. And now, like, you know, now that I know, like, God, I can't listen to certain songs. Like, there's certain music that, like, it makes my spirit uncomfortable, and I'm just like, I can't. Like, Future, can't listen to him. Like, I love him, but I can't listen to him. It makes me, like, You know, like I just start getting anxious, and I'm just like, oh, like I need a drink. Like when I hear his music, I'm like, I need a drink, and I don't like feeling like that. Like I should never need a drink.
Right.
So I can't listen to him anymore. So there's like certain things that, like, again, it's like when you mature, you're like, you just got to leave some of the childish things behind, you know, and it's okay. Like, it's okay to move on from certain things. It's okay to, like, decide to do things differently because your spirit or your energy or your mind is calling you to something else. Like, people always think that you have to be cool at, like, some level. And you don't have to have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like, you can always step 2 feet into one direction for a while and then decide to visit. You don't have to, like, always be cool, you know, and especially because the coolness is not going to be there when you need it when it comes to your future. Like the people, the things that happen in the cool spaces are not going to save you when you're in the trenches. You know what I mean?
Well said.
So it's like, if you're in hard times, try to hit up the cool people and see if they show up. They're not.
Yeah.
You know, like you have to build. You have to have people in your life that want nothing from you but your time. Like, if you don't have at least 2 or 3 of those people that you can just, like, hang out with and you don't have to do anything, then you're not doing it right. Because we're definitely not supposed to be alone. Like, we are supposed to connect. And even introverts will be able to handle 2 people in their life. Yeah. And they'll let those 2 people be in their life. But you need people. You need people to encourage you. You need people to check you. You need people to hold you accountable. You need them to, like, help you bounce ideas off of, you know, like, I just don't think that it's a good idea to isolate, even when you're, like, when you're going through hard times and you want to isolate. It's selfish in 2 ways. Number one, you're not allowing people to show up for you, and so then you're always going to keep believing that you need to be alone when you're going through something. And then number two, you don't know if somebody else needs you during your time of isolation. So it could be a 2-way street. Like, if you're going through something hard and then I'm going through something hard, and the way that I feel better is by having somebody around, and the way that you feel better is by talking, then we can just connect in that way. And I don't have to talk, but you do, but I just need somebody around. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's important to, like, pay attention to also what's going on around you. And there's songs about it. Like, every single famous person will tell you, like, they didn't get there alone. And their day ones are their day ones when they get up there. You know, and a bunch of people fall off on the way. You know, like, I remember, I think Fat Joe was telling a story about how he used to always roll with all these people. And then one time he was like, I ain't got no money. And they all left. And he was like, I was just kidding. And only 3 people stayed. So he paid the bill. And those are the only 3 people that are still in his life now. It really is true. It's like, the cool people are not going to be there in the trenches. Like, he literally was like, I ain't got the money for the bill. And nobody said, oh, let's pull it together. They were just like, oh, awkward. We're just going to... Like, imagine?
That's crazy.
Yeah, and he had been rolling with these people for like a decade. So it's like... Ouch. The loyalty ain't there, so it's better, like, a bunch of us, entrepreneurs, a bunch of people you've had on your show, we are going to make it. And we are going to make, like, our dreams come true, you know? And if you haven't been there with us through these moments, you're not going to be there with us when it's something. You know, like, I'm going to build a huge compound in San Diego that I can leave for generations. You're not going to get to hang out there if you are not my friend now. Why? Why would I invite some random stranger when everything is better? You know what I mean? Like, you got to prove yourself now. And I think that's super important, to, like, really show up for people and let people show up for you. Like, it has to be both ways. Because you can't... We've all had experiences that were bad, and, like, they keep us jaded, or they keep us sad or broken or restricted about certain things. But you have to allow somebody to change your mind. You know what I mean? Because we were younger, we were dumber. Maybe your awareness of people wasn't as good, so you weren't picking the right people to be around, so they were doing the wrong things to you. You got to give somebody a chance to, like, prove you wrong and be like, you know what? Humans are good. Like, we can be loyal. We can be respectful. We can be friendly, blah, blah, blah. You know
Absolutely. What I mean? Yeah. I'm at a, it was hard going through it, but I'm at a place now where, like I told, I was praying for growth. I was like, I want to grow, like, personally, professionally, like, just in all areas I want to grow. And the more I kept praying that, like, things and people started to fall out of my life.
Yeah.
And you always see, like, people talk about that, I had never experienced it before. I knew it was real, but I had never experienced like, all right, I'm trying to elevate. And you already like, Nipsey's my favorite rapper. One of his lines that sticks out of my head is, circle got smaller, everybody can't go. I love that line. Love that line. And I've been chanting that line all the time. Like, and I would say it like, when somebody like, you know, like any like thing that ain't really that deep, like you said, like, oh, hey, everybody can't go. Sorry, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that line, he said that in like 2019, but not until just this past year did I experience that.
Yeah.
Where it was like a really close friend of mine. Like, we're not cool at all no more. Like, we probably should have fought, honestly. And we're not, and just like, not him, but just like a few people in my life that I felt like were long-term, or I thought that were long-term, and they just not here no more. You know what I mean? And I don't care. Like, I'm not tripping, because I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I know I'm walking in my purpose. So it's like, it did make me, though, reflect, and like, for a while I was thinking maybe I was doing something wrong. And I was just telling one of my friends about that on my birthday, because I was like, I have a few friends that we were really cool, like we were really tight, and we have no relationship now, like none. And again, I'm fine. I'm not sad about it. Like, I know I'm a great friend, I'm a great person, and if you lose me in your life, it's your loss. Like, I know that about me. But it also, like, I'm thinking like, bro, I'm the common denominator here. Like, I've had 2 to 3 blow-ups with people that I thought were going to be around forever, or for a long time, if nothing else. And I'm the consistent thing here. So maybe it's something that I'm doing. Maybe I'm rubbing people the wrong way. Maybe I'm not as, you know, as genuine or as friendly or as outgoing as I think I am, you know what I mean? But then, you know, you keep asking more questions, and it's like, okay, why are we not cool? Like what, all the extras, why are we not cool? And then when you come back to that, and it's like, well, I didn't do nothing to contribute to that. Maybe I might have maybe reacted to it wrong. You grew. But I didn't cause this thing that the reason why we can't be friends, I didn't cause this. I didn't put this on the table. So it's not really my job to fix it. Get it off the table. Yeah. Like, you know, I'm gonna leave it on the table and just walk away from the table. Like I'm cool, you know what I mean? But yeah, I definitely 2023 I had the end of 22 and then moving into 23 a few people lost me in their lives, and it made me feel like but nah, I'm cool now. Like I fully understand like why those things happen now. Yeah. And I'm cool now.
Yeah. I mean, you're a person of faith, right? And so you should understand that when God wants to elevate you, he's got a clean house. Like, number one, to prove that he can, and number two, to get you to trust him for what's next. You know, and I do think that both of the things that you said were true. Like, maybe you do rub people the wrong way, and maybe you are blah, 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 to those kind of people. So you're not supposed to be friends with those people. Facts. Because you also have a bunch of other people that have never been annoyed by you. You know? Like, I spent plenty of time with you, and I've never felt like you rubbed me the wrong way. So I think it just depends, again, with where you're going and the kind of people that are going with you. You know, like, that you have to give them a chance to. Because all of my friendships that are like solid right now, that I'm like, I guess it's up to God, but I am saying, like, some of the friends that I have now are forever. Like, I can see them with me in the future. And they just happened in the last year or two. So, like, my solid friendships right now are new. But these people have proven themselves enough that I'm like, yeah, come along. Like, let's do this, you know? And a tip that I learned from, so I love, like, self-help stuff, right? And in order for me to become a healthy entrepreneur and to be able to teach people how to do that, I had to learn how to use my brain properly and how to, like, manage my time and how to, like, get new habits and all this stuff so I can teach that to people. Because it's really easy to say I want to start a business, but then to maintain that business is a whole different thing. And a 9-to-5er doesn't have the capacity to maintain a business without making some changes first, you know? So, like, the main thing that I had to learn was, like, building new habits and sticking with them and, like, really training my brain to do certain things. And one of the tricks was, like, repetitiveness, right? Like, you have to get into routines. You have to do things over and over and over again until your brain believes that, like, it basically creates a path, like a hiking trail. So, like, that's why they tell you have to do something, like, multiple times and until it becomes a habit. Every time you do something new, it creates a new trail with your neurons, and then the more you do it, the more it creates that path, and then now that's a thing for you. So one of the things that I read was, in order to create sustainable relationships or friendships, whether they be business or whatever, you have to let people prove that they want to be a part of that situation. So you get a jar and you get some marbles, and every time somebody proves themselves, you put a jar or a marble in that jar, and when that jar is full, you now have a friend, you now have a business partner, you now have a person that has proven themselves to want to be a part of your life, a part of that partnership, part of that situation. And so it's like, for me, I did it visually the first time, and one of my best friends now, like, I was like, you were my first jar friend. Like, I legit did that. Like, every time you would show up, every time you would remember something, every time that you would be like a thoughtful human, for me, I would put a marble in that jar. And when it got full, it was a year later, and I was like, yeah, we're friends. And now it's a mental thing, because now it's a habit for me. But for the people who need that technique, I guess, that little tip, it's like, if you've been in bad relationships before, like I said, whether they're romantic, friendships, partnerships, then give people a chance by actually like seeing it. You know what I mean? Like, your brain will literally like change if it sees like actual proof that things are different. You know what I mean? Because like, one thing about our brain that's really cool, and I'm always marveling at the brain, like, if I could study the brain and like it wasn't a money thing, I would. I think God was amazing when he created it. But the brain can't tell the difference between something that you experienced in real life or something that you tell yourself you experienced if you give it an emotion.
I was just reading about this.
Yes. So they are using this technique to help people, like soldiers with PTSD and stuff like that, right? They also have like electroshock therapy that they've done, EMDR. But like, basically, if you, like, a technique that entrepreneurs use, like really successful people, they will go through their day in their mind before they even start it. And they'll assign emotions to their day as they think about the things that they're going to be doing. And then their brain starts to believe that that's how you're supposed to feel, because that already happened. So then as you do them, you've already told yourself what you're doing and how you're feeling. Because when I became an entrepreneur, I started asking like people around me that I saw that were successful, and I was like, how did you do it? Like, how did you stick to like what you needed to do in order to get to where you needed? And they were like, you just do it. And I was like, I need practical steps. Like, I'm not that type of person. Like, you need to explain it to me. Like, when people say no, I always need to know why. Like, I don't just take a no. So when they were like, you just do it, I'm like, no, that doesn't help. Like, I need you to actually tell me. So I started reading, and I think like Atomic Habits is like the best book for this, because it literally tells you how to get new habits. And so it was that. It was like, just train your brain, give it an emotion. Like, Mel Robbins is really good at this. She was the one who talked about this that I learned. And it was like, just give it an emotion. Like, literally wake up, think about the things that you have to do in that day, give it an emotion, and then go through them. And if you react differently than what you already told yourself, there'll be a conflict internally and you have to fix it. But you start to be more aware of your day and your emotions and the way that you go about things. So then now you have control of your day instead of your day telling you how it went. You know? So it's like a really good tip for like a grown-up to do.
As you were explaining that, it got me thinking about like me, and I've been for a long time in trying to practice more like positive self-talk. And it got me to thinking about my process with the podcast, because I'm always like, oh, it's getting there and setting up the cameras in the background. I don't want to do that part, but when I sit down, I have a great time.
Yeah.
And sure enough, coming here today, I was like, oh damn! As soon as I sat down, I was feeling good. So it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you should think about it the other way. Like, I get to set this up. I get to have this room. I get to have this space so that I can be recording.
It's
corny. It is.
I don't think it's corny. It's so crazy, because like, I tell myself that, and then I keep blaming everything on ADHD. Like, I'll tell myself that and then forget.
I think it's true though.
Or like,
I don't think that you need to dismiss that. It is true. You need to set reminders for yourself that help you. Like, there's tricks that are literally like supposed to help. So like
I need reminders for my reminders is what I'm saying.
Yes. So one other trick, and this might be able to help you, is you put a rubber band, like a small, like the little ones, on your finger, and make sure that it's tight, because after a while that rubber band is going to get annoying. You assign a thought or a task to that rubber band, and when it gets annoying, you'll remember what that's for. and then it'll help you. So like I did this with one of my first clients. She was struggling with alcohol, and so when we started her business, like her business coaching, she couldn't stick to her budget because she would always break it so she could buy drinks. And so I was like, okay, what can we do? And so I started researching things, and I was like, all right, rubber bands. Like, you need to put a rubber band on, and like when it starts to get uncomfortable, like you remember you're not supposed to go past a certain amount with alcohol. And it helped her. And like now she's been in AA for a couple years now, like by herself. Like we started this, and then she ended up deciding it was like more than she could handle, and she made a difference, and now she's a fully successful chef, and it's amazing.
Nice.
But it starts with the little things. Like, it really is like as simple as a rubber band being really annoying. You assign it a feeling or a task, and then when it gets annoying, you're like, oh, that's what it's for. And then you can also move it, fingers, you know what I mean? Like, if we're being
that's a good one.
specific.
That's a good one.
So try that and see if it reminds you to remind yourself about whatever.
I will. I'm telling you, I make lists, put stuff on calendars, and
you leave the list somewhere?
Yeah, that, or like what I've learned about myself is like when the alarm goes off and when the time happens or whatever, whenever I was scheduled or set up for it, just do it. Like, don't procrastinate. Like, that's what I've learned about myself, because I'll be like,
you'll forget.
Yeah, it's like, oh, make sure you go finish whatever, and my alarm will go off. Like, I'll get up in 5 minutes, and I'll never get up and go do it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I've learned that, like, when the alarm goes off, just get up and go. Just don't even wait, just go.
Yeah, and that also trains your brain to like believe yourself. Because a lot of the reasons also why we don't do stuff is because we have trained ourselves to believe that we don't. You know, like if you're always snoozing, you don't believe that you can get up. So how are you going to get up? You know, if you're always late, then how are you going to believe that you can get anywhere on time? I'm guilty of that. But it's self-awareness without the awareness part. Like, you believe what you do to be the thing that you do. So if you don't do anything about it, that's just what you do. Like, that's why people are like, well, that's just how I am. It's like, no, you just haven't tried anything else. So yes, that is how you are, but you can also change it. Like, we literally all are capable of changing anything. Like, I don't believe that there's anybody out here that is less than capable of making one change that could make their life better if they decided to. You know what I mean? Like, none of us are victim to our circumstance. You are victim to your mind if you choose not to use it.
I would agree with that. It's a very, like, insensitive thing to say, but I don't even really like to spend time around people that aren't confident and, like, that aren't, like we all like have insecurities, and we all have things that, like, we may or may not like about ourselves, but it's hard for me to spend large amounts of time around people that aren't, like, that just aren't confident. And I don't mean like you have to think you're the most beautiful person ever, or like you're close, like, just, I don't know, you know, like something you can see, like, on someone's face or like in their body language when they just, like, they're not confident, or they don't feel pretty, or they don't, or whatever. It makes me feel like I've realized what it does. It makes me want to do something, like, to help you, but there's no way I can help you. So I just feel helpless. So I'm like,
now you're uncomfortable.
Yeah, like, get him up out of here. Like, and I know that
have their cold toes.
Yeah, you're right. And it's like, I know that sounds crazy, but it's like to get this person that lacks confidence, get them out of here. It's like, that sounds crazy, but that's how it makes me feel, because I want to help you, but there's no way for me to help you, so just leave.
I agree. I'm that way about like people that are always going through something. Like, I had to step away from those people. I had two friends that were like that. They were like, one of them, she was always like, my spirit is really heavy, like, pray for me. She was always going through something. Her spirit was always heavy, and I'm just like, girl, at some point you gotta get a praise report.
Right.
Nothing. And then another friend, like, he just had, I don't even know, like, I don't want to say that he was cursed, but he just had the worst luck. Like, nothing ever went well, and I don't know why, and I wanted to help, but it was literally, like, not my circumstance. And I'm like, bro, at this point, I'm like, I think you just need to surrender to Jesus. Like, there is something that he wants to do. Like, you're in a Job situation right now. Like, you legit need to surrender it all and, like, ask for what's up, because it's crazy how everything is going wrong. But I also can't be around it, because it is draining. Like, I can't constantly be hearing all of this stuff. Like, I'm a positive person because I keep myself there. And of course I'm not. Like, it is insensitive to say, like, I don't want to be around like, negative people or depressed people or people that go through things. Like, no, that's completely opposite of what I just said. Like, you need people. But you have to also give yourself the opportunity to come out of it. Like, yes, when you're going through something, I will be there for you, and let's work through this and make efforts. But if you want to stay there, I can't stay there with you. Like, that's going to drain me. Like, you are the people that you hang around, birds of a feather. It's true. I can't be around people that are always going through something, because I'll start attracting that. And I don't do that. Like, me and Dapper are always saying, like, we're always like, good things always happen to us. Like, and we say it so much that they do happen. So when they happen, we say them and then we just laugh. Like, know that. So it's like, you have to, like, your words have power. You know what I mean? That's biblical. It's energetic. It's, all of the stuff. Like, your words have power. So whatever you say can and will happen if you keep saying it. So if you're always saying, it's just nothing ever goes right, then nothing will ever go right. Like, and for me, I'm always saying, like, I am going to be da-da-da-da-da. Like, I am going to leave money for 2 generations. I'm going to have a compound. I am going to impact lives. I'm going to make something happen. And so I say it often to anybody who will listen, because number one, well, I need people to help me get there. I need clients, I need friends, I need family, but also I need to believe it, because when times do get rough, I need to remember, like, you have to leave something. So you have to get up, like, for me, I don't have kids. I don't have a partner. I don't have anything other than the vision that God gave me to leave something behind. So it's like, every day I have to get up and do it for the next generation, whether it be nieces, nephews. I don't know if in the future he'll give me kids. I think that I will probably adopt, because I like the idea of, like, bringing strays, whether it's dogs, kids, friends.
Gosh.
I just love strays. I love people that are, like, don't have much and are open to getting it. I know that sounds weird, but it's true.
No, it doesn't sound weird. You
calling kids strays. I know you know that I'm not good with the whole kid analogy situation, but
that was funny. But
I'll take the stray kids in.
That's funny. My mom would say that all the time, because, like, we never like, all our friends, like, me and my brothers would always, like, end up with friends that, like, had stuff going on at home, or just, like, never wanted to be home or whatever. And my mom would tell her friends, like, my kids don't bring home stray dogs, they bring home stray friends.
Yes.
My mom would say that all the time.
My mom used to bring strays in. Like, I remember, like, she would bring people to the house. One time we had this girl living in our house that was pregnant and had a little kid, and the kid would play with my dog. And I just came home, and one day she was just living in our house, and I was like, I met her at church and she didn't have anywhere to live. And I was like, okay. Cool.
Right.
Like, we always had, my brother always had friends that would end up staying in a house. My best friend lived with us for a while. Like, it was always okay for us to have, like, additional people that were in our last name in our house.
My house, it was almost never just me, my parents, and my brothers. We always had at least one friend. Like, for a long time in high school, one of my friends lived with us, like, my whole junior and senior year. And then after he moved out, another one of my friends moved in. Even before that, like, our house was all, because my parents were, like, such big church people, they didn't want us, like, hanging out at other people's houses that they didn't know.
Yeah. It was, my mom was like that too. She's like, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen here.
Right. So my mom was like, there are times I'd be like, Mom, I'm trying to go to Eldrick's house. She'd be like, no, stay, no.
Tell him to come.
I've never met Eldrick's parents. Like, no.
Yeah.
I'd be like, Mom, like, 8 or 9 of my friends are over. She's like, tell them all to come here. I'm like, huh? Like, tell them all to come. I'm like, I bet. Like, they've always been that way. Just do it all here. Just do it all here.
Yeah, my mom always shopped at Costco, and we didn't need all that food. You know what I mean? Like, all that toilet paper wasn't just for us.
Right.
You know? So, yeah, she's always embraced, like, the Jesus concept of, like, feed everyone, show love to everyone. Like, if you have it, share it. You know what I mean? So, and we've been blessed. Like, we definitely have been blessed with that. So we've learned to give it. And again, I appreciate the fact that she taught us that, that she was like, we give. Like, if we have it, we give. And there's been times when we don't have it. Like, we went through bankruptcy when I was 13, which is why we moved here. I grew up in Mexico. And then when my dad's parents died, we moved here into their house. And that's how I ended up in America. But during that time, even, I think it was like a year after the bankruptcy that she started bringing people back into the house. And I was like, we just came out of poverty. Like, can you chill for a second?
Yeah.
Like, let us get a savings account. But she was just like always open. And with people who ask for money on the street, she has always said, ask the Holy Spirit if you should give them the money, right? Because there's always a lesson to be learned when you help somebody, right? Like the person helping is supposed to be changed by the help, and the person receiving it is supposed to be changed by the help, right? So sometimes that particular task is not assigned to you because it's somebody else's job to help so that their heart can be softened or whatever. And then maybe those people around that person can be impacted as well. So she never said, don't give money to the people who ask, because Jesus always said, give money to the poor. You know what I mean? Like the beggar should get. But first, like, check in with your spirit and see if that's your assignment. You know what I mean? And if it is, give it. And that's why I always carry cash. Like, I always have cash in my wallet, only to see if somebody's going to ask me for it and I'm supposed to give it. And I want to get to the point where I can give hundreds. Like, I would just want to be able to, like, drop 100 on somebody. And now for social media, I don't need a little video recording myself, dropping the bill. But, like, I want God to call me, like, give that person $100. And then that be their testimony of, like, I had no more gas. I had no more whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be in that position. But I want that to be an assignment. So I'm not just out here just giving hundreds.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
I feel that. You get 100. You get 100.
Right? Over status. Yeah, no, because it's cool when it's an assignment and you don't even know. You know what I mean? And I like being used by God. I'll tell you a really cool story before we wrap up. So I've had messages given to me to deliver to people while we're in the club. Right? Like, I spent a few years in the streets because I felt like I was a street prophet. I was like, I can't be a Christian and only hang out with Christians. Like, they're already saved. Like, I need to go out here and, like, talk to people. And at Bluefoot, I gave 7 people the prayer of salvation on the line to the bathroom. Like, while we were waiting to get into the bathroom, I just started talking about God, and we just prayed before I knew it. So that was dope. But when I was in New Orleans, I was at a bar. And as soon as this girl walks in with her friends, and she walks in, and I feel like there's a light on her. Like something was just pointing at her, and, like, she was just, like, highlighted to me. And I was like, that's weird. Like, why is that light, like, pointing at that girl like that, right? And I was, like, kind of drinking, but not really. Like, I wasn't drunk. And so then she, like, everywhere she moved, the light was following her. So I was like, okay. At that point, I was like, all right, God, what's up? Like, are you trying to tell me something? So then I feel like he's like, you got to go talk to her. And I was like, dude, that's weird. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing to, like, be in my hometown and, like, I know I'm going to see these people again, so it's cool. It's another thing for a complete stranger at a bar, right? So then he's like, he keeps bugging me. He's like, now go talk to her. And I was like, all right. So I write it in my notes in my phone because it's really loud in there. And you know it's the spirit when you don't remember what you said, right? So he gives me this message, and it was something about, like, you're not alone, right? So I write this message out. I go up to the girl, and I was like, I hope this isn't weird, but I felt like God wanted me to give you a message. And I showed her the phone. And whatever I wrote on there, she starts crying. And then she, like, taps her friend, and her friend looks at the phone, and she's like, oh my God. And, like, her friend takes out the phone and starts taking a picture. She's like, can I take a picture of that? And I was like, yeah. And then she's like, you don't understand. My son passed away a month ago, and this is what he used to say to me.
Wow.
And I was like, what? That's crazy.
Wow.
And, like, she totally would have been. I was like, God just wants you to know that you're not alone. Like, he loves you, and he's thinking about you, and, like, you know, he sent a complete stranger to tell you that. And she was just like, oh my God, right? So I was like, okay, that was crazy, but it was cool. So then I leave, and my friend was like, what was that? And I was like, oh, God told me to talk to the girl. And he was like, oh, God told you? And I was like, no, seriously. And so I told him what happened. He was like, that's crazy. We get to the airport the next day, and the girl and her friend are at the bar in front of the gate that I'm about to get on. So then he's like, yo, isn't that the girl from last night? And I was like, oh my God. He's like, you should go say hi. And I was like, no, that's weird. Like, I did my job.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't need any, like, and he's like, no, you should go say hi. And I was like, all right. So then I go over there, and I was like, hey, like, you're the girl from last night. And then the 2 girls were like, oh my God, you're real. They're like, we didn't know, like, we were so drunk by the time, like, we didn't know if you were real, if you were, like, an angel, like, that's so crazy. She's like, can I take a picture with you? And I was like, sure. And she, like, her friend takes a picture of me with her, and then she's like, this is my son's blanket. And in the blanket, there's a picture in the message of, like, the words that I had wrote on this thing.
Wow.
It was crazy. And I was just like, if I hadn't listened to the Spirit, I would have missed that moment, and she would have missed that moment. You know what I mean? Because she, like, her friends took her on this trip to try to help her. So it was like a really cool moment. I was like, ever since then, I'm like, I don't say no. Like, when the spirit tells me to move, I move. I don't care where I am. Because that was a huge blessing that she could have missed if I was just like uncomfortable with talking to a stranger at a bar. So
that's amazing.
My mantra for 24 is like, when I move, you move. Just like that.
I like it. That perfectly leads me into what I was going to ask you next, which is what some of your goals for 2024.
Okay. I definitely want to grow other people's businesses. So the idea for this year is to be able to manage 10. Like last year I had 6 and it was a stretch. I want to do 10 this year.
Okay.
And that is in whatever capacity, whether it's managing their business day to day, whether it's starting it, evaluating it, whatever it is. Like I really love helping people, and I love when it's a success story. Like I said, like my first client, she is now a successful chef up north in like San Luis Obispo, I believe. And like watching her like thrive in that, and like I check in with her every now and then, and I'm just like, this is amazing. Like I helped build this, and like I don't need the credit for that, which is why I'm not saying who it is. But watching her like live in that, she's like, now she runs a restaurant and a B&B. She has access to like a farm, so she creates her own menus, like everything that she dreamed of. Like we put this on a vision board, and I was like, what do you want your life to look like in a couple of years? And like it is.
That's dope.
You know? And even the way she makes her reels, I'm like, she used to be so uncomfortable with social media and like being behind the camera, and now she's like pop up, like it's awesome. So it's like that's what I want. Like I want to be able to help people make their vision come true. I want to honor God in every move that I make. Like I am at a point where I'm past the embarrassing part of being a Christian. It's like, no, you gonna know that I like God. Like we walk together, and like when he moves, I move, just like that. Like he's gonna tell me where to go, who to help, what to do, what to say, and I want to do it. You know what I mean? Like I'm no longer in charge of my own, because it's so much easier when he leads. Like if the creator of the world is telling you how to move, why wouldn't you just move? You know what I mean? So I definitely want to honor him in everything that I do. And I think the biggest goal would be like, I really want to like be debt free. Like I want to be an example of how that's doable. And I'm not that far away. Like I honestly don't have that much. So I really want to be able to like, by the end of 24, say like I'm completely debt free and it's possible, and let's do this, you know?
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's some good goals.
Do you have some goals?
I do. Professionally, I want for Flix Media Network to have...
Flix Media Network.
Exactly.
Nice.
I want Flix Media Network to have 4 shows that we consistently produce. Like 4 either like shows, like weekly shows that Flix Media Network produces, that we just produce. Like I don't want to be a co-host again. I don't want to be on camera at all. I just want to produce.
Outside of what you're filming.
Right, outside of what I'm filming. I want Flix Media Network to have 4 consistent shows that we produce on the network. Well, not even if they're not on the network, just that we produce. I want to get on, you know, a lot of my life is on social media. I want to get to 10,000 followers this year.
Nice.
I'm at a little below 6 right now. Thank you. What else? I want to, like, I've hired different people to cover games for me before, but I want for another Flix Media Network goal, I want to have like
a team?
At least 2 photographers that are, I don't want to say like on retainer, but just like that are with me, that like when I can't make it to a game, it's not even a question. I can call these 2 and they can go cover the game for me. Boom. I thought I had one. Super eager. I won't say who it is, male or female, I guess, but this super eager photographer at San Diego State. I reached out. It was so cool. So I reached out, right? I'm trying to sound off. I typed it up in my notes before I sent it off. You know, so it's Michael Flix. I do this, and I've been doing this in the city for da-da-da-da. I sent it off to him. Them. I didn't say him. I said them. Sent it off to them, and they replied and was like, yo, I know exactly who you are. I've been following you for like 3 years, bro. You want me to work with you?
Nice.
I was like, Like, I had to, like, read the message again. I showed him. I was like, look at this, bro. He's like, you killing shit out here, man. I was like, it had me tripping that, like, somebody was like, some like high school, like college now, but I'm pretty sure they started following me when they were. I was like, I've been following you for years. I would love to work with you. It felt really good. And they're doing their thing. They are doing their thing. So whenever I do bring them on, that's going to be really dope. I'm excited about that.
Have you already worked with this person? Have you contracted anything out to them?
Mm-mm.
No? Okay.
So yeah, those are, debt-free would be a good goal. I don't know if I'll be able to get there by the end of 24, though. I don't have a lot of debt, but I just...
Well, I think the point of a goal is to aim for something, even if you miss it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because you have to reach bigger than what you can... If you're only getting suitable goals, you're not really pushing yourself, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe put it on there and see how far you can get.
Mm-hmm. And like you, I don't have a bunch of debt, but it's... And then for me, like, I don't have a... Anyway, I'll go on another 30 minutes talking about that.
That's TMI.
Yeah, not really, but we'd be in here for another 2 hours if I open that can of worms. So
yeah,
I have to bring it back for another episode, and we'll talk about that, I guess.
For sure.
Sure. You have fun?
I had fun.
I'm glad you came by. I had a lot of fun too.
Yes.
Great conversation.
We were
great energy.
all over the place.
Yeah, well, and see, that was what I said. That was what I wanted. We're talk about you, promote you, and then just have a dope conversation. So I appreciate it. Thanks for coming by.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Welcome anytime. Always. Ain't Got It Yet podcast, episode 42. Take care.
Damn, we were in here for 2 hours?